Welcome back to Seen It Before, where we're probably going to say something stupid about your favorite movie because we've seen it all before. I'm Danny.
I'm Dan, and I'm going to say something stupid that you're going to hate. So, surprise, Barbie beat Oppenheimer opening weekend.
Yeah,
I'm very upset about that.
I'm willing to admit I severely misjudged the box office poll for both of these. I totally thought Oppenheimer was going to run away with it, and I just totally misunderestimated the demographic of gay people and women. So,
well, yeah, there is that, and children. Don't forget the children.
Well, yeah. So what I'm hearing though is like it's too smart for children. I haven't seen it yet, but like that's what I'm hearing.
Well, we'll talk more about that next week. But this week, Oppenheimer. So, Christopher Nolan's 9th, 10th movie?
12th.
12th. Yes. So let's introduce our guests right now. We got Cameron and Nick here with us. Two guests who've been on plenty of times here at this point.
Yes, thank you for having us.
No introductions needed.
Oh, yeah. I've never seen this many white people in a room since the movie we saw over the weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
For this time in color.
Sometimes desaturated in black and white. Okay. Anyway, so this movie, it's a biographical epic that is just depressing, to say the least, I guess.
Yep.
But also kind of like, it's an important movie. It's a very important movie for people to have watched, or to watch in this case. Probably Christopher Nolan's most important movie, I'd say.
Well, he considers it he considers it his most important movie, and then he considers it one of the most important stories in history to be told. So,
I mean, especially for
it did
nowadays.
change the tides.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It did make the world infinitely worse, arguably. So it should be talked about, and it should be a part of history everyone's familiar with. So essential. It's as essential, I'd say, as Passion of the Christ, if not more so, because we don't know if Jesus was real. Hot takes.
Hot takes right off the rip.
Right out of the
Hot
grill.
takes right off the rip. Here we go. All right off the rip. All right. So this movie made $80 million opening weekend, or just over $80 million, and on a $160 million budget, somewhere in that ballpark.
Oh, I thought it was 100.
No, I thought it was too. Then I re-looked it up, and it was 160. So it made at least half its budget back.
There you go.
But, hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
For an R-rated
movie.
An R-rated 3-hour movie
Yeah.
about like a bunch of guys sitting in rooms talking to each other.
In IMAX. Yeah. Big guys on screen talking.
Yeah.
And, I mean, just fantastic. Anyway,
Beautiful.
So let's get right into talking about Oppenheimer. So my first note is this movie could use subtitles. This movie really could, with all the accents going around and everywhere. I mean, it was hard to pay attention to with all the different timelines going on. And
I agree but disagree. There's only really one scene that I had an issue hearing it. And it was like the scene where
the bass.
where you just need there's a shit ton of bass, but like it was just like where like you have to just feel the scene and you totally can understand what George Lucas always said, if you can mute a movie and understand what's going on, that makes it a good movie. You could totally do that with that one scene that I had a problem with. So I think it's
I get
fine.
that, but I like subtitles.
He definitely...
You got me hooked on that shit.
Seth got me hooked on that. Yeah.
He could have used subtitles in Tenet, that's for sure.
Oh my god!
The sound mixing in
the
that,
movie I fell asleep
abysmal.
on.
Yeah.
In theater.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to go over how did we see Oppenheimer? I saw it at a standard projection screen at the Madison Theater.
Oh, I saw RPX.
Cinemark.
I did RPX.
Cinemax or Cinemark's version of.
So we compromise. We all compromise. So Christopher is happy with none of us. He's like, you guys saw it wrong.
Yeah.
You guys fucked up.
That's something that I love about Nolan is he's such a tech geek and he cares a lot about projection and whatnot. And I think that kind of hurt Tenet in a bit because he said that he optimized Tenet's sound mix for the best possible theater. He wasn't thinking about any other theaters. So maybe if we saw it in IMAX in a nice large screen, maybe some dialogue would have been more
Well,
audible.
the dialogue is better. Doesn't mean the movie's better.
Well, yes, I understand that.
That's the thing. I think that's why I like Blu-ray releases with with stuff because they have different mixes.
Right.
I think when you get the Blu-ray mix for this one, I think the standard one should be at at most like 5.1.
Yes.
And then you have the options for the 7.1s and stuff, and then even stereo if you have nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like that should be the standard instead of like, because they always put the most complex mix at top.
Right.
And I'm like, I have to go in the settings and I have to know what I'm doing. Joe Schmo who just gets his Blu-rays is gonna have no idea what to do.
Before you go off on a tangent about all
yeah.
this stuff, like we're not talking about Tenet, we're talking about Oppenheimer. So
Yeah, well, Oppenheimer is amazing.
So we got Hoyt. We've got our boy Hoyt Van Hoytma coming back for the cinematography for Oppenheimer.
yes,
Oh
he did
my
Dunkirk
God.
and Tenet and this one. So
And Nope. Let's not forget Nope.
well, I'm talking about Nolan.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So, I always
good
thought it was
team.
Wally Pfister.
No.
Well, he used to do it forever. Well, like,
Older stuff like for Dark Knight, I
yeah.
think, right?
Yeah, I feel like Interstellar was his last with Wally, and then
I think so.
I think he's only been
Moved
working with
on.
Hoyt since Dunkirk.
it's interesting because
Yeah.
like maybe it just might be Nolan the way he like requests things, but it's like I can always kind of tell. Like I could tell the trailer like this was a Nolan movie just based on the cinematography.
Yeah.
But I always thought that was Wally Pfister.
Yeah.
But I guess so. I just must
It's
be
his
Nolan.
visual style. I guess it comes across no matter what cinematographer he
Yeah.
has, I think.
And just speaking of light, the way he uses flashes in this movie are incredible, especially when we get in the second half after the Trinity test.
Yeah.
Those flashes of white are absurd.
We'll get to that scene.
we're gonna get to
my
that scene.
I think it's my
We're gonna get to
favorite
those
scene.
scenes, plural, should we say?
And for me, that's what gets into my favorite parts of the movies is the subjectivity of it all. It gets really exciting, especially in the last hour. But throughout the movie, they have this kind of non-chronological editing, which I think works in some parts and doesn't work in other parts. What do we think about the structure of the film?
All right, structure.
I'm
You
a structure
said-
guy.
You said
you
his
are.
word. All right.
I could definitely follow it the entire way through. I was plugged in though.
Yeah.
I could definitely see where like at first, I was just like, okay, because I was trying to like figure out why black and white, why color.
Right.
I read it later, but because I had my theory about it, it got confirmed. But at first, I'm thinking like, oh, black and white's after the bomb. But then they're at the hearing, and then it's color. So I'm just like, I was confused, and I was trying to think about that, and then that disoriented me even more. And then getting further into the movie, then it was like I knew the rhythm of it better. So like I was into it, but I'm not sure what you guys think.
Right.
I was inebriated the first time I saw it because Barbenheimer was a thing. I probably should not have been drinking for
Maybe
that.
not.
this
So wait,
movie.
did you see Barbie first or Oppenheimer first?
Oppenheimer?
Okay, good. I just
So-
want to make sure.
The proper way to watch
Yes, I
them.
agree. I agree.
But
I'm confused. You got blasted to see Oppenheimer,
no,
a
I didn't get
3-hour
blasted.
character
I had a
piece
few drinks though, and I was just like, okay, I am.
because of Barbie.
No, just Oppenheimer weekend. It's just like
Oh, no, I get that,
drinking
yeah.
type of thing. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I did not like this movie the first time I watched it. I will say that right now.
I got the
did
text to
not
prove
like
it.
But
receipts.
I understood it's a great movie, but I did not like it the first time. So I saw it again the next day,
There you go.
sober as a rock, and it was fucking fantastic. Holy
There you
shit!
go.
Like,
There you go.
I was like, whoa. Like it sucked me right in from the beginning, as you were saying, and it didn't stop. I was just like, holy shit, I'm actually following it. Okay, this is good. This is good. This is good. Oh my God, this is depressing.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to
And
rewatching.
terrifying.
Yeah, I left the theater with so much anxiety. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God. Because like I
This is
just
not
saw.
AI, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, I saw Mission Impossible 2 weeks ago, and I'm thinking, okay, well, it taps into real world anxieties, and like this one just exacerbated that. I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh no,
Yeah,
this could happen again.
Your arms race, all that fun stuff.
All right, so let's actually get into the movie a little bit here. So the first part we get to is, Oppenheimer, or Oppie, should I say? I'm just going to call him Oppie
Oppie.
because,
Oppie.
Yeah.
yeah.
Our
I love
boy.
that. You texted me, like, I love how Oppie is a thing.
Yeah, it's just Oppie's how we're calling
It's
it.
like Chappie,
but not awful.
but good.
So it starts off with him, being tortured of visions of the future and that kind of stuff. And,
Very
and
Terrence
his
Malick.
reflection of the trials and where it's been going. So he's just like, oh boy, it just set the tone right away. And you're just like, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah.
Those
So-
particles floating around. I just said it's like Terrence Malick in Tree of Life.
Tree of Life, yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of that. I'm thinking of Nick Rogue. I'm thinking of Don't Look Now. And then I'm also thinking of Twin Peaks, of course, episode
Oh,
8,
yeah, of course.
which is the
Naturally.
easy comparison. But that
Yeah,
that
the
idea of
nuclear
evil being
explosions.
created
Yeah.
almost in this atom bomb.
Yeah.
death.
Do we know how they made those? Got those shots of the atoms?
No.
Because like
all
knowing
practical, apparently,
I would
so.
assume it's like a microscope, and then they did something with the sound design.
Yeah, because Nolan's known to work with scale,
Yeah.
which is really an ingenious way to keep everything practical, like the whole car chase in The Dark Knight with the trucker.
Yeah,
that's all miniatures. That's none of that's to scale. Well, it is to scale, but not.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah.
Let's see. So he studies abroad at this point and meets Heisenberg and all these
Walter White
world-renowned-
was
Not to be
I shit my pants.
Not to be confused
Not Walter
with
White.
Breaking Bad.
I'm like,
White.
what? We're gonna get a Bryan Cranston, which actually, unironically, he would have been a great addition to this cast.
Oh, he would have worked very well.
He could have been Truman.
I was thinking that.
Yeah, well, I thought it was interesting that Bryan Cranston played Lyndon Johnson.
Yeah, Lyndon B. Johnson.
And then Gary
Yeah.
Oldman, who plays Truman in this, played
Churchill. Yeah,
Like he just
doing all
loved
the war
playing-
criminals.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got his bases covered.
So, but yeah, the cast is
Stacked.
unmatched. Is there any other
It's a huge scale of a movie.
Yeah.
There's so many people, and some of them
we-
don't get enough time.
Could we all
but-
go around and just pick one actor that we loved
Yes.
in the movie?
All right, so Denny.
Ben Safdie, hands down, he's my favorite actor in the whole movie.
Really?
Yep.
Matt Damon.
I liked his whole character.
Matt Damon all the way.
All the way.
Oh my God.
Gary Oldman.
Oh,
Wow.
His one scene.
it's the best
This
he's
isn't
been in
about
quite
you.
some time.
Yeah, it's an incredible single scene.
Yeah, chilling. I'm gonna have to say Jason Clark
That crybaby back.
when he's
Oh yeah, yeah.
Great.
grilling
Jason Clark,
Oppenheimer.
yeah.
You really learn to hate him.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this guy's a fucking asshole. He's hurting my dude Oppie. Leave
I
Oppie
know.
alone.
And for me, that was some of the most dramatically exciting stuff. Was just
Yeah,
the trial.
the trial of Oppie.
Yeah, and
With-
that- so well done.
Arguably the climax. Well, I don't know.
Yeah. What is the climax of Oppenheimer?
I'd say honestly, I'd say
a bomb.
structurally but the thing is, I'd say structurally the climax is the argument scene where he's berating and Oppenheimer says he fucks up in his statement. I think that's like that, but obviously
yeah.
the maybe. I mean, a secondary climax was the bomb. Obviously, I mean,
Yeah.
how can you not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, I think you're right. It's not the bomb. The bomb is a little too soon to be the
Yeah,
climax.
that's true. That's true.
Because there's still like an hour afterwards at
Right.
least.
Which I
Yeah.
love that
So-
structuring. It's so smart.
The climax might have been when he's doing that press conference and everyone's cheering for him.
yeah.
Oh my
and
God.
you kind of just realize,
fallout,
oh shit,
yeah.
everyone's celebrating genocide. This is very
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
That's
Terrifying.
That's my favorite scene in the whole
Yeah,
thing.
that's definitely up there for me.
I physically felt like kind of ill.
Yeah.
watching oh man, why is he saying that?
Speaking of this ill scene, the girl whose face is peeling in that scene, that's Nolan's daughter.
Well, isn't that just
Yeah.
wonderful?
Hey,
So he
That's fun.
gives
Yeah.
himself nightmares.
He makes it personal.
He makes it personal. It was a really weird.
People make the
thing I
mistake
saw.
of calling Nolan a cold filmmaker. I don't think he is. I think he's very emotional.
Yeah.
I think this scene is bearing his
Yes.
heart on his sleeve. He's like, I'm scared for my daughter's life
Yeah.
because of the
Yes.
world we're in.
The future of our children and
Inception is about his fear of losing his wife and his
Same.
small kid.
Same thing with Interstellar.
Interstellar.
Interstellar as well.
Also about family.
Yeah.
But like Tenet and Dunkirk.
We
nah.
don't-
I think he made. I think maybe where that comes from is that he has a hard time balancing it. You have
Yeah.
a couple scenes of intense emotion, and then for the most part, it's just people coldly, logically telling you things. Like Anne Hathaway in Interstellar, like she had no
He's an
characterization.
exposition machine.
Yeah. Same thing with Joseph Gordon-Levitt in Inception. Like he's just there to say things to Elliot Page. So
Explain
like,
the plot.
True.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah, and I feel like Oppenheimer fits very well thematically into his catalog of people reckoning with the realities that they've created, the machines they've created, the idea of Inception. DiCaprio doesn't know if he's in a dream or not. We've got Guy Pearce in Memento, not being able to remember anything. And I feel like, I don't know, I really find his work to get more and more rich. And I feel like this is the apex, and I think he's
Oh, yeah.
going to turn in far more mature stuff.
This
moving
is his
forward.
definitely his most cerebral film. You really get into Oppenheimer's
Yeah.
head, and you even get briefly into his wife's head. Like it's the
Yeah.
most personal, and psychological.
Yeah. I'd agree with that.
she was another great addition. Emily Blunt had a great performance. I think she had two of the best lines in the entire movie. I forgot exactly what they were, but it was basically just like telling whoever's at the hearing just telling him off.
I love that
Like
scene.
the back and forth, the
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I love that scene, and the scene where she's just after Jean dies and she's like comforting him in the woods. Those are two very good scenes with her. Everything else,
Yeah.
she wasn't needed.
Because she's like, like, get over yourself, but also still kind of comforting. And I
Yeah,
like
just
it.
like get your shit together.
Yes.
Everyone's counting on you.
Two very good scenes from Emily Blunt.
Yeah.
She's
Oh, maybe the drinking scene as well, where it's like, oh, I've been feeding him all fucking night or whatever.
And then he's like, "Here, have my child."
I like that.
yeah, that was good too. But
I don't want
It's
him.
like,
My
I
wife
need you-
doesn't want him. I'm good.
But also, like that whole scene with her being like, she's just fucking done. Like
Yeah.
that came out of like nowhere for me. I didn't really see hints of that. Where she's a terrible person.
Yeah, very.
She don't give a shit. But yeah.
well, I mean, she did have a marriage that wasn't really a marriage. So
Well, yeah, the way she talks so cavalierly about her ex-husbands, I'm like,
Yeah,
and
it's like-
while her current husband is like there,
Right. Some red flags.
yeah.
just a few.
So they're both like that, and I guess they're
Yeah. They're perfect for each
Yeah.
other because they're fucked up.
yeah.
So I mentioned Jean Tatlock. Let's talk about her for a little bit.
Oh yeah.
So she meets Oppenheimer at a party. They fuck.
Yep.
And then they talk about. She makes him read the book while.
Right.
I had to stifle a laugh.
I was just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what the
I was
fuck
like,
is
oh
this?
I was like, oh, this is how the line's getting in first during a
Yeah.
sex scene. I'm gonna have to check the history books on that. I don't know if that happened.
Doesn't
Mr.
even-
Nolan, is this real? Am I gonna have to call Pinocchio on you?
I think, yeah, and then there's the other scene that we'll get to in a minute. But yeah, so
Yeah, they have a really weird sex life.
Yes.
But I'm glad that the rumors, or maybe I just got memed really hard. I could have sworn I kept hearing from like multiple different accounts there was going to be a 15-minute sex scene, missionary with only Cillian Murphy's ass in the frame. That's that I just and I believed it for a hot minute.
I
And
think
I'm
he
like,
wanted it. I think he wanted it.
Those pale, skinny Irish cheeks.
Oh my guys, he survived on one almond a day. filming this.
know.
Like what the?
He
fuck?
did not look healthy.
No, he didn't.
Just like he was dedicated to looking as skinny and sad as possible.
That ass would not have been fat.
Yeah,
That's all I'll say.
two little pancakes slapping together.
it would probably be a skinnier ass than Christian Bale's in The Fighter.
Yeah.
All right, that's enough. Ass.
Anyway, enough about asses
Enough ass talk.
for now.
Enough
But yeah,
ass play.
interesting way to get to the iconic line that we know
Yeah.
Oppenheimer
It's a weird
said.
way to put.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Thankfully, he says it again in a different context. The
Yeah.
original
Yeah.
context.
It was Strauss remembering that he was embarrassed by.
Right. So you had a kind of a Rashomon thing going on where it's like you got his perspective.
perspectives, yeah.
He's laying it. He's kind of downplaying it a little bit.
Yeah, he's
and
like,
then Rami
very
Malek
funny,
comes in.
very
It's
That
like,
silly Oppenheimer. Oh, he's at it again.
I
little
wasn't
did we
embarrassed. I have
know.
my pride. It's okay.
I'm gonna kill that guy.
But yeah, but it's funny. It's like that little jab made him destroy his entire career.
Yeah.
Yeah, very spiteful.
Yeah.
He's an evil dude.
It's another
Not that Oppenheimer's an angel, but
another theme of like personal bias, how absolute power corrupts absolutely, the fact that the government is just run by a bunch of insecure jerks like
man babies.
man babies.
Yeah.
Which I mean, Robert Downey Jr. is so good in this movie. It's
he's
absurd.
Yeah, we haven't talked about him at all. yet.
I feel even more angry at Marvel for chaining him to their franchise.
When he
for
could be
decades.
doing good movies.
Oh yeah. I mean, I knew he was great.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean,
From
we didn't know it was the drugs or anything. But,
And it's no
you know,
Tropic Thunder, but it's pretty good.
Tropic Thunder's fucking amazing, dude. No, but I think my favorite performance from him is Less Than Zero, and like, I don't really hear that one talked about too much.
I haven't seen it.
Especially the end, like it just like kicks you in the balls.
I believe
it out.
it. I believe it.
Yeah.
I think he'll probably get a nod for supporting actor in this.
Yeah,
I mean,
probably.
He was
Yeah,
I would
so,
hope so.
good.
Has he ever gotten anything before? Or he
Chaplin.
won for Chaplin. So okay.
I think so. Or at least got nominated.
I think he got
for
nominated. I don't think he's won.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'd be fantastic. Either him or Matt Damon, because they're both fantastic.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so is Jason Clarke. Like all the supporting cast. It's like
Pretty
Yeah.
incredible.
It'll be like this year's Emmys, where it was like half of the supporting actor nominations were from The White Lotus, and the other half were from Succession.
Right. Yeah.
It'll be like half from
Yeah.
Oppenheimer, and if I had my way, half from Asteroid City. But
Or, or Ryan Gosling, as we'll talk about next week.
Ooh.
Anyway.
I look forward to watching that episode.
Oh yeah, same.
Yeah. I think Nick,
Big Barbie fan.
Yeah, Nick,
I wore pink.
Nick, you'll be joining us next week for that, I believe.
Ooh.
Okay, very good. I will happily return.
We meet Kitty for the first time at a party with whoever her husband is, some
We don't
rich
remember.
dude who
He's
doesn't
not
matter.
important.
Some guy.
He's some guy. It's not
Some old
important.
guy. She's not getting the right action from him. She needs some hot Killian action.
Yeah, some hot Killian action. They go on horseback riding in Los Alamos for some reason. Okay.
Yeah, he just loves Los Alamos for no reason.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to ruin my enjoyment of this place by putting the worst place ever on top of
I
it.
mean, his brother and him had a ranch out there. That's true, but like,
Because it's almost that Western ideology, the manifest destiny. I'm going to go out and conquer the desert.
Oh, because he's
God.
conquering like new terrain and science and stuff.
Yeah,
Okay,
Right.
okay.
Yeah. He sees a canvas.
Yeah.
He-
I mean, yeah,
Paints it with blood.
Very good, Nick. Thank you for finishing my sentence.
Yes, yeah.
I love it.
Jesus. Basically, there's also the I noticed, like, again, back to the casting, the kid who plays Cameron in Halloween, that guy, the Allison's boyfriend, who like he's in there, and then he was like interacting. Who else was? Oh my God, there's somebody. Oh, the Rechavlier, the communist guy that they.
Chevalier.
Chevalier, yes.
He's the podcaster in Halloween too.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
I don't know how
That's
you
right.
catch all these cameos, or do you just look up the cast list?
No, I just know their face. Because also I thought it was really funny because that same guy was in Game of Thrones. He was the knight. He was the knight that gets killed in like the first episode or whatever in the tourney.
His face did look familiar.
Then he plays twins in House of the Dragon.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, do we want to talk about
The time we almost killed the guy.
the first
We really
character
missed
beat?
that. Yeah, thank you for reminding me of that. So yeah,
Kenneth
go ahead.
Branagh's first scene, and also the scene where like it's also funny because he poisoned a guy, and he didn't even hate him. He was just like, I didn't really like what he was saying, so I
didn't let me
injected
go to
his
lecture.
I injected his apple with like cyanide or whatever.
Literal
and
cyanide. What the fuck?
And he's like, he's ready to murder a professor because he didn't get a good grade. And I'm
like,
just like,
like,
this guy
whoa.
isn't great. They're setting up very early. This guy may not have the best moral standing.
No.
Yeah.
And the guy's,
He just needs to get laid.
yeah. And it's funny because I was like, wait a minute, did I never hear that Oppenheimer killed a guy in college? And then you see him rushing because he's like, oh shit, I almost poisoned my professor. And he's like running to his classroom, and like Kenneth Branagh, this famous scientist, what was his name?
Bohr.
Niels
Bohr.
Bohr, right, is about to like take a bite of his professor's apple. He's just like, oh, there's a worm in it. Oh, slaps it into the garbage.
Yeah. I wonder if that's in the book that this is based off of, American Prometheus.
Yeah,
I wonder if that scene is, but I mean, that'd be.
I don't have 5 months free to read it since it's 700 pages long.
Jesus.
Thick boy.
Thick boy, very thick boy.
Oh,
That's why this movie's 3 hours long.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
Lot to
that's also
cover.
why the pace is so cranked up, because there's just so much
Lot
you got to
to
get
cover.
through.
Yeah.
There's politics, there's interpersonal stuff, there's romantic stuff, there's physics.
There's lots of
There's a
changing.
lot.
Yeah, it's incredible.
There's physics.
There certainly is.
So there's this thing with the black and white film and all that stuff. Kodak developed its first ever black and white film
truly
for
black and
IMAX for this movie.
Yeah.
Which is just crazy. Christopher Nolan. Nobody else could do that except Christopher Nolan. And maybe like another big name director, but like Tarantino.
Cameron also
Yep,
changed
he
the
could
technology.
Right.
Yep.
he would never touch film back again. He's only going to do digital.
Stick in digital.
Yeah.
It's weird to see two like titans in film be so divided on this issue, where it's like, I think Nolan's kind of losing though, because it's like, even if you film it on film, it's going to get digitized for the mass audience.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's a bit of a lose-lose. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So back to him teaching at Berkeley, which we didn't talk about Einstein, but we can talk about him a little later. So
Who plays him?
Tom Conti.
Never heard of him.
He's been in a couple things.
yeah. Anyway, so he starts teaching these theory classes at Berkeley, and eventually gets more and more students and all that stuff. And the guy who hired him, Josh Hartnett's character,
Well, glad he's back doing
So
that.
good.
He's
Right.
back, and he has a great turn in this.
he he was real good. I didn't expect that from him at all. And damn, yeah, he's very understanding at first. Then he's just like, "Fuck you doing with this politics in the classroom? What are you doing, man?"
Like, keep it in the bedroom. Keep your politics in the bedroom. I don't want to hear it.
It's great.
I love that image of Oppenheimer in the bunker with the camera next to him because it's almost like a filmmaker in a projection booth.
Oh, yeah.
Watching
Felt like
as
it,
the light lights up his face.
That's brilliant,
That
yeah.
image is incredible. It's
Yeah.
one of my favorite shots
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Easily.
Okay. Leslie Groves, my favorite character, Matt Damon. He is introduced and basically tasks Oppenheimer like, "Hey, you want to run the Manhattan Project? Sure, cool." I love the first scene he was in. Like, I don't remember why I love it, but it's just so good. Like, their back and forth is just so.
Oh, and he's just like, "You're egotistical. You're a piece of shit." But
Yeah.
and he's like, "Yeah, but I'm brilliant." And then
Yeah,
he's like,
but
"Yeah,
yeah.
that's not important when you're a scientist. Everyone's brilliant.
Yeah.
You need to bring more to the table."
yeah. And then say,
Nolan wrote the script for this, right?
Yes.
So where was this kind of witty back and forth in all the other movies?
He wasn't. Was he writing his other?
Where was
scripts?
my
'Cause I
hot
know
sauce? That's a genius line.
David S. Goyer wrote most of the Dark Knight stuff, so I think that was more his stuff than Nolan.
I just don't know. I don't think of Nolan when it comes to like dialogue. And I'm thinking he had two really good back and forth scenes.
Yeah.
This scene that Dan's talking about, and then the one with Emily Blunt and what's his name? Rob.
"Oh yeah, Roger Rob." Yeah.
Okay.
Love that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, he has an 18-month head start on the Russians. Alvarez then figures out the atom stabilization, which is what's his face's character,
Is that Alex Wolff?
Alex Wolff. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
his character.
Hi, Alex Wolf. Bye, Alex Wolf. Thanks for stopping by.
There and gone.
And then they need to figure out the team. They need to assemble the team, and
Low-key like an Avengers moment. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Avengers with scientists.
Oppenheimer literally has a suit up moment when
Dun, dun,
he does,
dun.
yeah, he
Putting
puts the hat back on.
Albert Einstein's like, "I'm putting together a team."
Yeah, one of the guys they hire, not Josh Peck or Jack Quaid, the other guy, the third guy in the hallway, and
Hallway
you
guy.
talked about this earlier, that Hitler being anti-Semitic is his downfall, and that is what's going to ultimately cause the end of this, and because he calls it Jewish science.
right.
Quantum physics, yeah.
How ironic.
So, how ironic. And Josh Peck, spherical. So
That bomb is spherical.
like, I saw him in the trailers, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this?
What are you
Well,
doing
how do
here?
you get into this movie?
And he gets to push the button.
He's the button pusher. That's
He
his
gets
whole
to
deal.
push the button to
I mean-
launch the bomb.
Yeah.
He's the biggest guy. He does the biggest thing in the movie.
So funny.
I saw this one.
It's crazy.
I saw this one
Full
TikTok
circle moment.
where this guy was like saying, "Yeah, I was an extra on Oppenheimer. You can see me there in the background." So I think he actually was, but he made up this story how he was in the scene where they were going to drop the bomb, and he was just like, "Yeah." Then so Josh Peck's about to push the button, and he's like, "It's kabloomy time!" And then and then Nolan is like, "No, Josh, just say the line I wrote it. Yeah, I got you. All right, kablamo."
I think he's a little more professional than that, but it is funny to imagine.
These are the reasons why this is the fourth biggest box office opening weekend of all time.
What did drag people to Oppenheimer? What was it? Do people really care about Oppenheimer? Was it the Barbenheimer thing?
A lot of it,
the
I think, was
cast?
Barbenheimer.
So
The fact that two opposites.
I would love
of
an
movies.
exit poll.
and they contrast
probably.
they contrast so well and fit together just enough to make it a crazy weekend.
It's also a great dad movie. You can definitely,
great dad.
everyone can take their dad to this movie. Dads will have a great time watching Oppenheimer.
Just make sure you get up when Florence
Probably
Pugh
not.
is on screen. And
Yeah, just be like, I have to go to the bathroom for 3 minutes and 25 seconds exactly. So your dad can have a nice moment by himself, and you don't have to see him.
I looked at the IMDb summary. I know what's coming.
Oh god! And don't take your dad to Barbie. Let's see here. So where were we? Okay, Los Alamos. So they have the scene of the jars, and they're filling up with like how much plutonium they have and how much
Uranium.
That's the other one.
It's
That's
the
the other one.
anium.
A great tool to use for the audience to see like this is the progress we're making into the story, and so I'm like, great,
Yeah,
genius.
The montages are great.
It's just it's so simple yet so elegant.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Then we haven't talked about Robert Downey Jr. that much. I don't know how to talk about him in this capacity. He's just like in a courtroom, or not even a courtroom, but it's
A
like
Senate hearing,
It's Senate
I think.
hearing. It's
Yeah.
like he's just getting. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh shit! And just it's up for a
playing
cabinet
dumb.
position. That's the word.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
He's up for that, and basically this is confirming whether he gets it or not.
So do we know the position? Because it's a Secretary of
Cabinet.
War.
I don't know which one.
Yeah,
It was
in-
like
in the
one
cabinet.
of
The
the
cabinet
big
positions.
presidential cabinets. Like it would have made his career.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying like what his position though.
It didn't
What?
say.
I'm gonna Google it.
Google it, Nick.
Yeah, you-
Because this is they mentioned Secretary of War, which I thought was funny because now it's defense. They didn't want to use war anymore because it didn't
Right.
it sounded more threatening than it needed to be. But yeah, so he's just in the courtroom and he's just deflecting, and then I like this little buildup. It's a little tiny thing, but he's just like, who's the scientist? Like who's coming in to totally rip me to shreds? And I'll admit I was kind of like confused and like surprised. I'm like, oh, and they give him a little tiny arc with it's Rami Malek who
Yes.
through the
yeah.
two scenes that he's in with Oppenheimer just completely disrespects him and like knocks the shit out of his
Rips him to
hands.
shit.
Yeah, he's like, fuck this guy. And then
Secretary of Commerce.
Commerce.
Rami Malek wasn't even like mentioned to be in this movie until June of this year. Like that's when he was first shown. He was in this movie.
Nolan really flexed with like how he got big actors to just do the littlest scenes. He's just like, yeah.
He had a pretty big scene. I mean,
Yeah,
By
that,
the end,
that was
yeah.
pretty climactic. But earlier, he didn't have any lines. He just popped in the scene. So
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, Rami, go Rami.
well, yeah, I mean, Josh Hartnett isn't as big as he was, but like even he has a diminished role for what I would think he would do.
Right.
Gary Oldman, obviously, one scene. It was great.
Iconic.
we're gonna get to him in a little bit.
Watch him win an Oscar, and then he'll be
my
like
God.
the
Oh my
second,
God.
or like because Elizabeth Judi Dench won for Elizabeth.
Oh, yeah.
Shortest amount of screen time ever. I think it was like a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's possible. He could do it.
Yeah.
Back to Gene Tatlock.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So the weirdest fucking scene in the movie.
Yep.
They're just sitting naked in chairs. Just both of them.
Because the intellectuals, Stan.
What the fuck was that?
'Cause
He
they're
went to visit
comfortable
her in
with
New
each other.
York.
They
and,
fuck with their
or
brains.
San Francisco, wherever. And like
It's intimacy.
it's
It's
weird.
intimacy, it's comfort for them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why Robert didn't have his legs spread because he's a dude.
It's
I mean,
disappointing.
it's just like I wanted to see Killian hang Dong. Come on, you're gonna win an Oscar if you hang Dong. Come on,
I mean,
give the people what they want.
and then she's in the back of the Senate hearing, and randomly she's just riding him again. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
I think it was trying to just show where he was mentally.
Yes, easily. No, it's where the wife was. 'cause that's
Right,
what
it
he
was her
mentioned.
perspective,
Oh, right.
imagining him,
Yes.
because she imagines like, oh, my husband, the cheater.
Yeah.
There's his real love is this random manic pixie communist girl.
Because part of this hearing
mean-
is to destabilize Robert's entire life, including his marriage.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Like-
but the thing is, I think that part is true though. Like he did have a weird obsession with her after
Oh, he
she
did.
told him no.
Yeah.
Like I like the running bit where she throws out his flowers.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
he's got to be somehow like turned on a little bit when that
by
happens.
the
you know?
rejection. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be some weird thing with him right there.
With the flowers, she ended up pushing daisies anyway. So, I mean,
Oh, bazinga!
bazinga. And so, yeah,
Wow.
she got so depressed that he didn't want to see her anymore. She either killed herself or was killed, because there was a hand on her at one point, like she was getting drowned.
I
Yeah,
was
it's like,
thinking that
what
was
the
like
fuck?
the police pulling her out, but
Oh, okay. I thought I was seeing stuff because I thought she was like holding herself down.
It's an alternate interpretation because nobody
Okay.
knows what happened to her.
it's
She
very
either
open.
drowned or she
Interesting.
could have been killed off because she knew too much, maybe. Who knows?
possible.
I can see that being
Yeah.
But they didn't kill the Chevalier.
No, they did not
They just
kill
kind of deported him. I think.
Well, they made the joke. Oh, let's kill him. Nah, we won't do that.
Maybe.
Who said that?
That's why I love Matt Damon so much in this movie.
He really sells it.
Great. All right. So the big part of the movie. It's after the Christmas thing, and they finally got enough plutonium and uranium to make this bomb.
It is go
The Trinity
time.
test. So it's go time.
Let's get
And
all the
they-
Scotch tape to tape the bomb together.
Matt Damon
Very
says,
rinky dink.
what's his face? Groves says this line about, is there a chance we actually blow up the world? I saw a TikTok on this. Don't remember who the guy is, but what if the nitrogen and oxygen in the air combine to make a bigger blast than anticipated? You would need a bomb to be bigger and more quantities of deuterium in the ocean to make it actually blow up the world. Scientists did studies on this in the 1970s. Like they redid the math and everything.
Interesting.
That would have been done. It's like near zero, but like it could be catastrophic if under the right circumstances.
Which are, if you blew it up underwater?
No, basically there needs to be just more of this element, deuterium or whatever the hell it is, in the ocean or in the.
Deuterium. I've never heard of that element.
I don't know if it's an element, but it's like it's a TikTok, bro. I don't know.
Stuff.
I don't know.
If things were
Take it how you
slightly
will.
different, we all might not exist.
I mean, but it does. I mean, stand to reason though, because you would think. I'm not a physicist. Clearly,
None of us are.
I'm wearing a sweatshirt.
I'm wearing a surprise shirt.
But
A Mandy shirt.
But the thing is, like, you would theoretically, I would think, like, okay, if neutrons are bumping into neutrons, because that's what he says, like, it's going to create a chain effect. I mean, every atom has a neutron, right?
I think so.
Or a nucleus. Well, the nucleus is like
That's like the center.
with the quarks. That has the quarks in it. The
brain.
And the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Yes,
Remember,
we all know that. Don't talk to us like we're stupid.
We're not children.
Come on.
My 5th grade brain remembers that.
Nothing else.
But yeah, I don't know. The way the visualization they showed it in the movie, I'm just like, oh, it's gonna just ping pong, ping pong, ping pong,
Yeah.
and then it's gonna, it's gonna blow up everything.
And isn't the whole movie about causes and effects?
Yeah.
It's about, hey, we made this bomb, now it's out in the world.
It's a near 0%.
The idea of almost later on in life, there will be so many more bombs that the world will blow up eventually.
nukes.
Yeah, I mean, instead of literally a chain of reaction, it metaphorically,
yeah.
like it's
They
gonna.
they sprinkle these shots in a little bit as we find out at the end that there's the nuke's
Yeah.
going up. They sprinkle these shots in a little bit.
Yeah,
throughout the
it
film.
goes
It's like-
into his brain and
it's
all his
like, oh,
nightmare
man.
scenarios.
Oh, man.
And also one of the most haunting visuals is
Yeah.
at the press conference where he's like, "Yeah, we won, but at what cost?" Like you see him take a step and he's like stepping in like a charred corpse, and it's just like, "Oh Jesus Christ, this is where his mind's at." No wonder he's so miserable. Just thinking he's stepping on corpses wherever he goes. It was just very.
It's a horrific
harrowing.
scene. And
As the surrealism just keeps getting turned up and up and up and up as we see people screaming, shouting. Are they cheering? Are they applauding? Are they crying?
Yeah.
Is some people having an intimate moment underneath the bleachers? What's going on with that?
Just like-
yeah, I noticed that. I was like, well, what the fuck?
and that phenomenal close up on Killian with the background just
Oh, yeah, well-
destabilizing.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
incredible.
yeah, they do that a few times in this movie, and it's
Yeah.
really well done.
So good.
Yeah.
So we missed the countdown. So the whole countdown scene is fucking fantastic. It's just like
That's probably the most tense I've ever been.
it's so
in a
absolutely.
good,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's incredible because we know what happens.
Yeah.
spherical.
And like
The world didn't blow up, right?
cool-
We're all still here.
yeah, but
like,
it's like still like
what
what if? Yeah. But the thing is, there was like there was two buildups. Like there was like the countdown obviously goes off. See like a big light show for like a good minute.
Yeah.
They're all
And then
admiring
the
it.
sound comes in, because I was bracing myself.
Yeah, I was
while
like,
it
the sound's gonna be
I'm like,
really
oh no,
loud.
no,
I'm so
no,
scared.
They tease that with the explosions earlier in the movie that they take a second to like reach.
Yeah.
Shut up. Yeah.
Like that's real life. That's how explosions are. So I mean, it's
I just
it's
want to give
preparing you for it.
quick shout out to Jennifer Lame, who is the editor of the film. She's also worked on Hereditary, Marriage Story, Meyerowitz Stories, Wakanda Forever somehow,
Okay.
which is interesting. I
It was great. I actually like that movie. But anyway,
But yeah.
Oh, quite the resume.
Yeah, and I feel like the editing's a big part of the pacing.
Oh, yeah,
I
definitely.
agree.
And it's great because so much of the movie is montage and jumping around, and then the Trinity test, you're stuck.
Yeah.
You're stuck in real time,
Yeah.
seeing that countdown happen.
Yeah, in that
it's
bunker
great.
just before the countdown. Oppenheimer says they'll know the bomb's successful in an hour and 52 minutes, which is an hour and 52 minutes into the movie when he says that.
Oh, trippy.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fun.
Nice little detail there.
I give that a lot of credit. The amount of planning that would have to
I
go
know.
into that.
Oh my god.
You just like
Probably a reshoot, but
when
like,
I do a regular it could have
Yeah.
When I
They
do a
did
regular
500
YouTube
takes
video,
of
To get it just right.
they just say like they
1
do.
minute. All right, next.
It'll be a minute before
Nuts.
2 minutes. Yeah, but no, like just like I did a script for video and I timed it out and I plugged into like a script timer.
Yeah.
It said 20 minutes. The actual cut turned into 10.
Yep.
Damn it.
Where does 10 minutes go? Like, I don't talk that fast. So I do like the fact that he's not like any lesser filmmaker, I think, would just make like, oh, he's haunted by the sound of the bomb. He's hearing
Yeah.
it. But no, he's not haunted by that. He's haunted by the sound of the people stomping on the bleachers.
Yeah.
Him cheering him on.
Shaking. Oh my
So cool.
god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This movie was made for IMAX, and he's fucking right.
Yeah.
Like,
I felt it.
the sound alone is just worthy of
in
it.
my bones.
Literally.
My bones are aching.
Like,
Storm.
your bones are aching, your ass
This'll
is shaking.
cure
like,
your
you don't even know,
arthritis.
like-
Yeah.
all right, so we talked about the fallout and the speech. So that speech he had in the gym.
There's been some recent controversy after the weekend of the film coming out. People are concerned that there isn't actual footage of Nagasaki and of Hiroshima.
Okay.
And the lack of representation with Asian characters. And I
Okay.
don't know if I fully understand or agree with that because
it's-
that's not what the movie's about.
It's
Yeah,
not
it's
right.
clearly about
Watch a
Oppenheimer.
different movie about the fallout of Hiroshima
Yeah.
or Nagasaki. Hiroshima
Watch,
is great about that.
What's it called? The Clint Eastwood movie.
Yep.
Tales from Iwo Jima.
Iwo Jima.
Yeah, like
Yeah, well, that's more.
it's not important to the story. I mean,
Right.
it doesn't further the story. Like they mention it, we all know what happens. I mean,
Yeah.
And they also don't cut to Germany during the German
Yeah,
part of the war.
right.
So
They
why
show
would you
Heisenberg
cut
once.
That's
to
a very good point.
Japan,
Yeah.
because it is called Oppenheimer, not Oppenheimer and Japan. So to like cut over there and see like other perspectives
Yeah.
when it's from his.
like I think all of us are all for representation
Yeah.
and how
Yes.
all that works. So like,
But
who cares? It's not important. It doesn't further the story.
And also
cares?
considering that this movie, that Nolan is so insistent on being accurate to this particular story, like because you might hear some people criticizing that the Congress was only white guys.
Right.
It literally was though.
It literally was.
or like Dunkirk. I remember that was a concern when Dunkirk came out.
Yeah, but it's like that's like
That's how it was.
if you're
I know the
like,
Tuskegee Airmen
he's,
were around, but
he's
that was
looking at
America.
this
Yeah.
as an objective lens. This is literally what happened.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to tell a story like Hamilton, where like that's the point,
Right.
go for it.
I would love to. I would love to see that, but oh well. But I think the scene when he's in the projection room and he's hearing the stories of Hiroshima. And the
Oh my
person-
That's all
God.
we need.
Oh,
It's
That's
almost
just like-
kind of more harrowing, because you don't even get to
Yeah,
see
it's
it.
like over
So
100,000.
your
You have to
imagination.
imagine.
Exactly.
Yeah, like over
that's something-
100,000 dead instantly, and then like 50 to
fallout.
60,000 afterwards. Like
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
And still today,
Still today, it's still
the
causing
nuclear
problems.
half-life is still floating around those areas. So it just
Terrifying.
shows how nightmarish.
It's also crazy
is.
because Chernobyl was cleared out immediately.
Yeah.
It's probably worse, but like still, like Hiroshima and Nagasaki are still kind of populated.
Straight
Yeah.
up fucking meltdown there.
I think the acid rain is the one that scared me the most when I first learned
Bring
about
the
it.
sheets inside. Every time he told his wife,
Yes.
like, bring the sheets inside.
Yes.
Just like, because the rain from the nuclear fallout is going
Yeah.
to radiate the laundry and then give them all cancer. It's just like, oh, fuck. Even that little line is
all you
just so
need.
terrifying. Yeah.
And the fact they use it as like a kind of a triumphant inside joke for them.
God,
Like
yeah.
they're like, we did it. Bring the sheets inside. You don't want to die.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna do all these people.
oh shit.
Yeah.
Stuff.
The whole second half is him dealing with like him personally being like, I fucked up.
Yeah.
Development
Whoops.
of Strauss. Get more development with Strauss.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about. Well, yeah, there's obviously more Strauss stuff. So, there's not much else we can really talk about Strauss. It's just him being a dickhead as
Yeah,
usual.
we've covered
That's literally all Robert
They go-
Downey's character is, and I love it.
I do like that they plant seeds going back and they think like, oh well, there was a spy. There was we
the
kicked
Einstein
this
thing.
off with the
Like,
Soviets
yeah.
Yeah.
and the talks with in that it was like a dinner or something where like Oppenheimer's
Yes,
disagreeing with
yes.
Strauss, and he's
Yes.
like, what's next? We're not gonna do this again. Like we just did
I
it.
forgot about
Yep.
that.
And
scene.
David Dalmatian, I don't know how to say his last name.
Yeah.
He's creeping in the
guy who
back.
always
David
plays
Dalmatian?
creepy dudes.
Which
and we love him for it.
is he a good?
Borden,
Is he a real person?
Borden, yeah.
Borden, was he a real guy? Because another one of Nolan's protagonists in Prestige, Christian Bale, was Borden. It was the one with the twins. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
or he was the twin.
Yeah, I don't think he would have made up
he
a
was
guy.
the spy. He was the spy, right?
No, it was the more Russian looking one.
Oh yeah. Well, like he had an important thing. He had an important part at the end, though.
Well, he was the guy who he got the dossier
stood up
from Strauss to completely
Yes.
discredit him because Strauss can't do it himself. And then Roger Robb's also an inside man. He's like, yeah, you're totally
We also
right.
haven't talked about Alden Ehrenreich in this either. Like, he
Oh
was
my God,
good,
he's
too.
great.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, he's great. One of his best performances. And also Dane DeHaan.
Dane DeHaan too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He was so good and like.
I'm glad he's
intense.
back.
Good at being like a.
Oh,
dick.
you didn't like him?
No, I'm glad that he's back. I
Oh,
liked
back,
him in
back, okay.
like Chronicle was amazing.
Yeah.
And then Amazing Spider-Man 2. And then,
And everyone's favorite movie of 2017, Valerian.
Who could forget?
Oh,
What?
Valerian.
What's that one?
Sean's obsessed with that one. Anyway,
He is?
He actually does like that one a lot.
Oh, I'm
yeah.
jealous of him. I wish
be
I could
nice.
like
I wanted to so bad.
all right. So Truman, let's get to Truman.
Oh, Truman.
Nick, we'll let you take the stage.
Yeah. So I definitely, before I saw this movie, I'm a Cold War studier. It's one of my favorite eras to look into because it's so complicated and murky and morally questionable. So this is really what starts the Cold War. And so we see Truman, played by Gary Oldman excellently in his one scene, sticks out more than a lot of the other characters in terms of the quality of performance. But Truman is like, yeah, I want to see the bomb guy. I like the bomb guy. Bring him in. Come on, bomb guy. I want to give you a handshake. And then he sees Oppenheimer and he's just like, Jesus Christ, what have I done? I'm going to fucking kill myself. And he's like, you're really bumming me out, guy. What the fuck?
And the guy who made the bomb.
Yeah,
only who
just like,
dropped it.
I dropped it. You shut the fuck up. I'm the bad guy, and I like it.
And he gives
Get
him a
over
hanky.
yourself.
Yeah, he's
He's
just
like, cry about
I feel like
it,
I have
bitch.
blood on my hands. He's like crying about it. I thought he meant like I have blood on my hands. Here, wipe off your hands with my
Well,
handkerchief.
it could have been either way.
okay.
Probably the blood. You're
wasn't-
probably
it
right.
wasn't blood.
Yeah. But
Cry about it, bitch.
no, that scene did actually happen. Well, it all probably actually happened. But that scene, like in particular, in real life, as Oppenheimer was leaving the room, like, never bring that fucking cretin in here again.
Crybaby,
In,
yeah.
in this, they changed it to crybaby, but it was still like, wow, when the president fucking calls you a crybaby bitch, that's gotta sting. That's gotta hurt.
Well, maybe he just became like so mean after the United Nations fell apart. He was just like, everyone else is dumb. I was the right one.
Yeah, no, Truman's kind of like a dick, especially following FDR, like one of the greatest presidents. Like following this guy's like, yeah, I dropped the bomb. That's my whole thing. That's what everyone
literally what
remembers me for.
Yeah.
And then that's
and
it.
possibly the aliens.
What?
Aliens?
Oh, was he Roswell?
Yeah, wasn't he Roswell?
Was that 47? I think.
Hoover?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm a history guy, but I don't know that.
Eisenhower? Maybe I don't know.
Eisenhower's 50s. Or at least, yeah, because I remember it was at the International Highway System. Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
Not important. Anyway,
no, he was after Truman.
Do you know, fellow viewers? Let us know in the comments section below.
Like and subscribe. Sorry. That's not my thing. That's your thing. I can't take that from you.
I do really like that.
no, put it back.
I really like that they do treat him like Gary Oldman plays it like he's just a 3-year-old with these like with Tonka trucks. It's like these are my toys, and I
Yeah.
want.
And he's just like, I'm gonna drop more bombs. I don't care. Fuck you. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, he is really like a dick, and he's like, yeah, I bet the people of Hiroshima and Nagasaki don't care because they're fucking dead because I killed them. Yeah, bro. That's so metal.
And the way the music cuts out too.
Yeah.
There's no breathing room at that point.
No,
it's just
it's
as terrifying
just
as a
like,
Trinity test. You're like, oh, this is a president. saying
President
these
just
words.
being a dick and being like, yeah, I'll start an arms race. I'll finish an arms race, bro.
I don't know if there's another important scene until Emily Blunt's next scene in the interview. If anybody has anything,
No.
I can't tell if Rami Malek's scene comes before or after that, but
it's after that.
okay.
All right. So, yeah, Emily Blunt's scene, she's basically asked to prove who her husband is as a person and not a commie. So,
Because this is the beginning of the McCarthy thing.
she's just going back and forth with Jason Clarke's character. It's so good.
That's great.
She's just pissing him off. He's just like, what do you mean?
But it's also really cool that she's able in real time to pick out the logical fallacies that he's throwing at her.
It's like, oh, your semantics are wrong, Jason Isaac, so you can take your argument and fuck yourself.
Jason Clarke.
Jason Clarke, not
Close.
Jason
Thinking of Star
Isaac.
Trek.
Sorry, yeah.
not very close.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, fantastic scene.
No,
Her
Also-
best scene in the movie.
Then there's the kind of layer between her and Oppenheimer where Oppie's just like, I'm a martyr. He shakes his hand with the Ben Safdie. I forgot his name. Was it
Teller.
Teller? Yeah.
Teller, yeah.
Yeah, he's just like, I totally betrayed you right there, but he's like, I still
I'll still
respect
shake
your
your
work.
hand.
You're a good scientist.
And yeah, Emily Blunt,
She's
Kitty,
like, why do you gotta be such a bitch?
Literally, like, yeah. And she's like, I don't understand.
and then Kitty ends up never shaking his hand at the end of the movie either.
She snubbed him.
No,
Well,
she's like, no, fuck
As
you.
she should, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Well,
Fake friends.
he was kind of like a linchpin in destroying their careers publicly. So yeah.
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 And
So Strauss's undoing. That's kind of where we are at this point. I think.
yeah, a great scene.
Beautiful.
Holding Aaron Rodgers being like, bro, you're a dick. The whole time.
Yeah, he's like this whole conversation. I've only
It's
known
like-
you for an hour, but fuck you.
Yeah, Strauss is like, yeah, it turns out I played everyone and I'm a genius and everyone's dumb except me. Oops. Just everything
I take it I
blows up
didn't
in
get
his
the
face.
position. No shit.
And he's just so devastated. I'm like, oh, it's so cathartic. It's so satisfying. Seeing it blow up in his face like an atom bomb.
Yep. And then we finally hear what Einstein, who shows up a few times, but his most important scene is this last one.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like the Rosebud moment. It's very much like
Oh yeah.
I'm
Very-
seeing something.
very
What's
similar.
going on there? We never really knew
We
what
go
he
back
said.
to that a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, so yeah.
And what does he say, Dan? What does he say?
Well, basically, you're about to destroy the world. You've changed it to we can't go back from here.
Yeah.
It's a new regime. It's a new
New World Order.
New world order in a way. Yeah.
Ooh, crossover.
Where's Captain America? End credit scene.
Where's the post-credit scene? Come on. But then
And you see just that slow pan into his or zoom into his face. It's just like,
Yep.
fuck.
but the last line of the movie is, I think we already did
Yes.
destroy the world. I'm just like, oh, fuck.
Yep.
That was like a devastating, beautiful line. Absolutely incredible.
Already have. Yep.
Also, there's a really cool little bit where it's just like Strauss is, as a character kind of summed up in like one line. It was just like you kept obsessing about this little conversation between Oppenheimer and Einstein and thinking they were talking about you. It could have been for something more important, maybe, like the end of the world. I don't know. But no, it's all about
like
you.
that. Yeah.
Everyone loves me. You don't understand. I'm going to be the best Secretary of Commerce ever.
I'm misunderstood.
No one gets me. Oh, Mom. I don't know. I just hated him. It was so great to see him fail.
Fantastic.
They also do a great job mirroring what the beginning shot and an ending shot, because it opens up on the rain coming on down on the pond. So you're seeing it from Oppenheimer's perspective, and then it's almost like you're seeing it from the water's perspective at the closing shot. So we're fully transitioned.
The acid rain.
Once again, action and
And
reaction
acid
as well.
Yep.
Lot of-
Go Newton.
Bookend. So, yeah. Yeah, this movie was deeply emotional, devastating, and fuck, man. Like, the second time watching it got so much better, and
Helps not being drunk. It's a movie you need to be
I
sober
wasn't drunk,
for.
but I wasn't
Okay,
sober.
tipsy.
I
Wasn't
was
all
at
the way
least-
there.
It's a sobering
I was a
movie.
few high noons
Yeah.
deep, all
It's
right?
a sobering movie, and you need to be sober for
You
it.
really do. You need to pay attention. You need to be able to
Lot
pay
of
attention to this
details.
movie. It's a lot of details. A lot of different characters playing different roles. A lot of differing, angles and timelines. It's a whole mess, but it works so well.
Oh, yeah.
So do we go over what the black and white means and what the color means? Because
Yeah. So the color is objective, right?
subjective.
God damn. Subjective.
You were close, Dan.
Subjective.
Do we
It
want
was
to
a
cut?
50-50 chance. I'm sorry.
You get the
Color stuff is subjective. Black and white is objective, and also like differing point of views. So like, what's his face?
Strauss.
Strauss's view is the black and white, and
Oppie's.
Oppie's is the color. So,
Abi.
so yeah, I think that's a pretty widely known thing right now at this point.
Yeah.
Weren't they chanting that at the?
They were.
Oppie, yeah.
Oppie,
Oppie, Oppie.
At Christmas, I think they were chanting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, after all that, I think
Yeah.
we give this movie an 87.
87 from Dan.
It's solid.
I'm gonna go. Oh, all right.
Yeah, you can go.
I'm gonna go 90.
Yeah.
I think it's a very solid Christopher Nolan movie. I wanted to give it a 95, but I always do this recency bias. So I'm gonna temper my expectations a little bit. I'll do 90.
Cameron,
9-0.
90.
90.
All
Yes, I'm going to copy Danny.
I'm going to say, oh, sorry.
No, that's all good.
That's all you have?
All right. I'm going to say 92.
Ooh.
Oh,
And part of that is I'm a history buff and I love all things history. And this was like one of the most important historical events and one of the most important movies, I feel like. So this is going to go down in history, which is appropriate. And yeah, I think it's Nolan's best.
But yeah, we're Seen It Before. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok with the handle @SeenItBeforecast. That's SCENE at Beforecast, and on Twitter with the handle SIB_pod. I'm Dan.
Danny. You can find me at Danny_Was on my Instagram, my letterbox, and serialize at DJ Was, or my YouTube channel, which is just Danny Was.
You guys want to plug stuff, Cameron?
yeah. Follow me on Letterboxd. Cam Kircher. Also on Twitter at Cam Kircher. Or X, or whatever it is. That's
Whatever it is.
X.
As
I
of the
heard
day that we're
about that.
filming it, it's X. I don't know what it's going to be called tomorrow, triple X.
Yeah.
But you'll find me.
And my letterbox is Nikki Pads, and my Instagram is Sir_Goofbag.
Goddamn right. it is.
Yeah, goddamn
Goofbag.
right.
Yeah, so as I said, Barbara Girls, you are not ready for this movie. You haven't seen it yet.
I'm just
we've seen
confused
it.
as to, like, I'm hearing, like, you know, this is the best movie of all time. I'm hearing
What?
other ones where
Okay.
it's, like,
Okay.
it's trash and it hates men and stuff. And then I'm hearing that, like, it's fine. I'm here, all runs the whole gamut for everything. So, like,
Well, you're just going to go in blind and not look at any more reviews. Just don't go in with high expectations, because then maybe it'll actually be a little better. You never know.
That's always a good approach.
It's always a good approach.
right now,
Maybe
I'm
do a Dan Walker. Drink a couple high noons before you see it. And then you
I
might
was
like it more.
hammered. I was hammered for the movie, not gonna lie. So it was a good way to see it.
I have to review this next week. I'm going to go to it drunk.
Oh, I remember the movie. I remember everything about the movie. It wasn't too hard to follow. So I mean, yeah. Anyway,
Sounds like a great podcast. I can't wait to listen.
Yeah.
movie drunks without being movie.
That was, oh my God, that was 3 years ago? 3 years ago.
We still did it a few years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so till next time, from all of us, see you next time.